we had decided on him, and I called her out after I called Carl and told her that we had decided on Carl, that we were right, we were that didn't get the job.
Right.
And discussed how much she wanted. But still, except that she told me this morning, you called her a couple days ago.
Yeah.
What she said, nobody or has called her ever.
No, what I told her is, you know, about the board and everything.
You're live.
How are you?
What's that?
You're live. You're good to go.
Yeah, wait for 9 o'clock. Is that the only person? There's 2 people. Okay, it's 9 a.m. We'll call this public hearing to order. At this point, do you want to go around the room and introduce ourselves? I'm Ray Lockwood, Chairman of the Cuba County Industrial Development Authority.
Here signs, staff at IBS.
Gina Speedham, board member.
Ricardo Galvado, attorney for the CCIDA.
Tiffany Beebe, City of Auburn Planning.
Herb Marshall, member of the IDA.
Andy Ranklis, member of the IDA.
Michael Miller, executive director.
And we have on the screen,
We can't hear you.
I think
Jason's on mute.
Jason Lesh from Auburn Community Hospital. Sorry about that.
And Andrew Bodowitz, Park Grove Realty, the developer for the project.
at this point, I'll have Taylor read the resolution, or Michael.
Pursuant to and in accordance with General Municipal Law, Section 859-A, the Cuba County Industrial Development Agency is conducting this public hearing in connection with a certain proposed project, as more fully described below, to be undertaken by the agency for the benefit of PG Auburn MOB LLC. The agency published a notice of hearing public hearing in the Citizen and mailed a copy of the notice of public hearing to each affected tax jurisdiction. An affidavit of publication and proof of mailing are attached. Continue with.
Yep.
So BG Auburn MOB LLC for itself and or for an entity or entities to be formed collectively, the company has submitted an application to the agency requesting the agency's assistance with a certain project consisting of one, the acquisition of the agency of a leasehold interest in approximately 1.14 acre portion of the parcel of real property located at 17 Lansing Street in the city of Auburn, New York. Land being more particularly described as a portion of tax parcel number 116.21-1-35.13 as may be subdivided. 2, the planning, design, construction, and operation of an approximately 12,000 square foot cancer treatment facility to be commercially leased to and operated by Auburn Community Hospital for the delivery of radiation oncology services, including exam rooms, equipment rooms, treatment spaces, office spaces, and common areas, site work, parking improvements, curbage, signage, landscaping, fencing, security, and related improvements, collectively the improvements. 3, the acquisition of and installation in and around the land and improvements by the company, the primary tenant, machinery, equipment, fixtures, and other items of tangible personal property, the equipment, and collectively with it, the land and improvements to the facility. And 4, entering into a straight lease transaction within the meaning of subdivision 15 of section 854 of the Act, pursuant to which the agency will retain a leasehold interest in the facility for a period of time and sublease such interest in the facility back to the company, the straight lease transaction. It is contemplated by the agency that the agency will acquire a leasehold interest in the facility and lease the facility back to the company. The company will own and the operator will operate the facility during the term of the lease. The agency contemplates that it will provide financial assistance to the company in the form of A, a sales and use tax exemption for purchases and rentals related to the project. B, mortgage recording tax exemptions, and C, a partial real property tax abatement structured through a pilot agreement. The foregoing financial assistance and the agency's involvement in the project are being considered to promote the economic welfare and prosperity of residents of the County of Yuba. Agency cost benefit analysis. Based upon information provided by the company in its application, the project will involve an approximately $14.4 million capital investment in the company and operator, along with the payment of new revenues for the benefit of the affected taxing jurisdictions. The agency estimates the following amounts of financial assistance to be provided by the company. Estimated real estate tax savings, $3.7,800,000 or $86,825. Estimated mortgage tax savings, $82,500. Estimated sales tax savings, $360,000. Estimated financial assistance is $4,229,325. The estimated mortgage tax abatement, going into our calculations, is an assumed mortgage amount of $11 million and a sales tax abatement of $4.5 million.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Would anyone from the hospital or the project like to comment?
Go ahead.
We don't
Andy.
have any comments. I don't have any comments. This is Andy Bodowitz. We appreciate everyone's assistance in moving this really important project forward, and we're pleased to be involved in it. So thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any comments either. I just would like to say thank you, and this will be a great project, hopefully, for the community.
Any comments from the board?
Uh,
I'd be disappointed.
I'm wondering, when we first heard about this, it was contemplated a 30-year pilot, and now it's a 15-year pilot. Was that a mistake to begin with, or has the length of the pilot been reduced for some reason?
Well, we worked very closely with Michael and Justin, the council, and we came to an agreement on 15 years. We did. So I think, we also worked hard to make sure we're in compliance with size of the benefit and that sort of thing. And so I guess we felt comfortable with where we were at, and it's important that the pilot, we're satisfied with what it is, but it's an important feature because it is the hospital is responsible for all the taxes, and we're just involved because the hospital needed our help, quite frankly, to financially to be able to put forward the capital to make this happen. And as I say, we're very pleased to be a part of it. We think it's a great project for the community, and we're excited to be moving it forward.
If I could ask Mr. Miller,
Mhm.
the company is the developer,
Mhm.
and the operator is also the developer, or the operator is the hospital?
The operator is the hospital.
Okay. Is there a written agreement that we could see at some time between the company and between the developer and the hospital? I basically would like to know what would happen if at some point in this 15-year period, if the hospital was not able to come up with the lease payment, what would happen then?
Well, we're working on a lease. We don't have it finalized yet, but it's a 20-year lease with a 10-year renewal, which would give the hospital 30 years. So that was the original reason why we wanted to at least have 30 years on the pilot, because it's for the benefit of the hospital. However, as I said, we're satisfied with where we are on the 15-year. We do not have a final lease, but a default provision will certainly be a part of the lease, as it is in any lease agreement. But I don't know off the top of my head what exactly that provision states.
Yeah, and our goal, Herb, is in 5 years, we have the opportunity to buy the building back. And we're going to be having a capital campaign coming up, right, once we get this whole thing approved. But the goal is for the hospital to buy it back. That's the goal.
I would hope so, yes. Do you, and I address this maybe to Mr. Miller, but do all of you expect us to act on this before the lease is put together and in place?
And it's not subdivided yet either.
Yeah, the property's not even subdivided.
Okay.
I mean, if you're asking me, I say yes. We're asking you to approve it. We would greatly appreciate it. We're at the 1 yard line with, there's a lot of moving parts, but there's a lot of things that are at or near the finish line. And the lease is nearly finished. We hope it will be in the next few days. But regardless, that's not going to change. This is the benefit that the hospital needs to make this project happen. And the pilot is critical to making that happen. And it's part of the hospital's effort to get final approval from the state, which they have, but there's a few conditions that they're finally satisfying.
Yeah.
Speaking just for myself, I'm very, very supportive of the project. And I very much want it to happen, but I want it to happen in a safe way where the hospital is protected from the possibility of the developer not getting their money from the hospital and turning this over to an independent people to run. I don't know that that's even possible, but it certainly could possibly happen. And I'm concerned that we know the particular agreement between the developer and the hospital
Before we act.
So that I'm convinced that the hospital is safe in this arrangement.
So I think the concern is that if for some reason the hospital defaults on their lease payments or the lease as a whole, as you, Andy, as a developer, are you going to still reap the benefits of the pilot? So I don't know if there would be some kind of a stipulation that we would put into that agreement, but I think, our intent is to help the hospital, right? It's in our community. We all really believe that this is something that's needed desperately here. But, again, we don't know what's going to happen because it's on a lease.
Well, let's just back up for a minute and try to understand. I'm in the business of real estate development. I don't know anything about operating a cancer center, nor do I ever want to be in that business. But if for some reason something happened with Auburn Hospital and they defaulted and we were left with a building that is a cancer center, I don't have any way of doing anything but finding somebody else to operate a cancer center in that building. It's really a single purpose building. There's not there's going to be a massive amount of concrete and vault and equipment that wouldn't allow us to use it for anything else. So I guess my point is that regardless of what happens, it's going to be a healthcare facility to treat cancer, whether it's Auburn Hospital or a successor to Auburn Hospital. That's what it's going to be. And it's for the benefit of, regardless, will benefit the community. So if that's the case, we would still need a pilot because it would be another healthcare institution operating a cancer facility. We're not in the business of operating healthcare facilities. We would need to find another healthcare institution to operate it. And we're not
we have dates by October 7th. We've got to meet all the contingencies for the certificate of need for New York State to be able to get approval to start on this. So that's kind of our date that we've had in terms of clearing the contingencies. We're also we're the equipment we're leasing, so I've got to get that cleared. They have to approve this lease. The Department of Health looking very closely at this. They're the ones who recommended the certificate of need to the Planning Council. They've been monitoring. They've had all our financial reports, everything. This might be one of the only chances we have to bring the radiation services here. It is a very, very capital intensive building for 11,000, 12,000 square feet. It has a high cost to it, but the value, right, if it was medical office space, is not nearly 11, $12 million. So, we've been going at this for, I don't know, 8 or 9 months trying to get through all these hoops. We're pretty close to the finish line. To get there, we need Andy's help to bring the service to the Cuyahoga County residents. So we can talk what happens if this or that, but at this point, this is the opportunity for us to bring this needed service to our community.
I guess I would be in support of it at our meeting. We will vote on it tomorrow at 4 o'clock approximately. Is that right?
By 4:30 or better.
That's when we would actually act on it. And I can change my mind because I do all the time, but I would suspect that I would move to approve it, subject to us seeing the contract between the developer and the hospital. It's just me.
Makes sense. How many people will you employ?
We told us 14.
They put 9.
Jason, how many people will be working there?
Yeah, I mean, 15 to 19, I mean, in that range. I mean, we're moving the oncology service that has been very successful, the hematology, working with Upstate over to that building. So it'll be one-stop shopping for the patient in terms of the infusion and then the radiation services. Cortland has a radiation center. Oswego has a radiation center. Syracuse does. Auburn does not. It would be top-of-the-line equipment. Upstate would be overseeing the center with their physician services as they do now. So it's a beautiful, beautiful building proposed and very peaceful and easy to access for the community to get those services. For everyone who has cancer, 60% of the people need radiation services.
Yeah, along with Herb, I'm very supportive. My wife had to go for radiation last summer every day and drive the community general.
Mhm.
Thank God it was in the summer. That's a bear in the winter to make that drive. It's very, very much needed.
Wasn't there a radiation place on Grant Avenue years ago? By the hot dog hut right there, that's no longer a facility? I think
Yes.
We did have one years ago, right? Okay. So
Yes.
that building, to
That
your-
wasn't full service though, was it?
it was radiation because I worked there as well.
Okay, sure, no,
Yeah,
that's
my
fine.
husband. So, but my point is that today that building is no longer used for that service, right? It's something else.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess I would, to that point, be interested that the pilot goes with the use,
That's fair.
right? If it gets changed to convenience center, then we don't want to give a tax subsidy.
We can put together what our stipulations are for our meeting tomorrow, and they should be available.
And I think it
Yeah,
gets,
Michael and we can reach out to Justin with the 2 items so far that you have.
well, I think
Contingency on the lease and also the use.
Can I just jump in for a minute? I just want to, first of all, we're not going to change it, nor will we ever be able to change it to a convenience center. But I think you need to understand that we're risking a substantial amount of capital. And I can't take that risk moving forward if I am being told that that there's a tax benefit that goes away if something happens to Auburn Hospital. I can't do that. And I'm pretty sure the bank wouldn't move forward with allowing us to borrow money to finance this project either, if that were the case. if it's a healthcare facility, maybe a fair compromise is so long as it's operated as a healthcare facility of some kind. But if there's if the pilot were to be extinguished because something happened to Auburn Hospital and they couldn't fulfill their lease obligations, I can't take the brunt of that. It just, number one, I wouldn't do it. Number two, I don't think the bank would finance it. So I just leave you with that, because it's not going to be that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I guess, 20 years out, a lot of things could change, maybe the Auburn Hospital disappears and it's all Rochester or something.
Yeah, it's built up to article space, so it's very, valuable in terms of that. There's specific standards for this. That's one of the reasons it is so expensive also, beyond all the concrete work. But it would be suited for anybody to utilize this for these services. I mean, this is a parking lot right now. So we're not paying any taxes on it. I know Health Central, they've gotten tax breaks in the past. We occupy a good amount of space there. Theirs was extended again because we occupy space in there, because we're not for profit. So, I mean, we'd like to move this forward, but I agree with Andy. I think they are putting forward a lot of risk on this project, and the bank probably would not move forward with them. So.
Further comments?
No, I'm just here to take notes for the city.
I think especially myself want you to know that we're very, very supportive of the project. And we're supportive of a pilot for the project. We want to make sure that we do our due diligence to see that it's put together right. And I think at some point, it's not unfair for us to ask to see the arrangement between the hospital and the developer. I certainly could support doing this while that was being put together, but if you're this far along and you haven't got a agreement put together between the two of you, where in the world are you?
No, we do have one that it's not signed. It's very close. And as far as from my perspective, I mean, I'd want to talk to Jason, but I don't see an issue why we would have a problem providing you what we have thus far in terms of our lease agreement. But I mean,
that would help me if you could do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. I mean, I'd want to make sure Jason and I are on the same page, but yeah, we're very close. I don't think it's going to be done by tomorrow, but it's going to be done very soon. And we could certainly share with you what will be very close to what the final form will be, as long as we're in agreement on that.
And where are you with the subdivision? Are you relatively close to?
I thought it was done, actually. I don't know. Is Justin not on? I thought it was done, so I can look into that. We had all approved. We had everything approved at the city. There may not be a plat that's been filed yet, but the subdivision was approved.
I do not staff planning board. I do know the site plan was approved. I do not know if the subdivision was filed as part of that application. I would have to check and could let you know.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm all set. I can go back to work.
Okay. Okay.
Further comments from the public?
Thank you both very much, and we expect to see you tomorrow sometime after 4 o'clock.
Thank you very much. I will look forward to
Yeah,
being
thank
there
you.
tomorrow, and I appreciate everyone's time. And I'll talk with Jason, and if we can get something over to you in terms of a lease today, we'll certainly do that.
Thank you.
Rick?
Yep,
Thank you.
Motion to close public hearing before you motion to adjourn.
Exactly.
What was it?
There's a motion to close the public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion concerning closing the public hearing? All in favor? Any opposed?
Because I get too deep into things, I called Mike Magolio's cell phone number up this morning, and I know he'll call me back. I'd like him to see that agreement between the hospital. The hospital wouldn't be there without him. There's absolutely no question about that. And I just, maybe that's, we don't have to do that. I can do that myself, but I would like to have him look at that. We have something for him. Thank you all very much.
Your motion to adjourn.
Yes, that's.
Is it second? Motion made and seconded. All in favor of adjournment?